happy days were here. We had these abundant, free resources of wood, of minerals, of water, of arable land, and we let it rip. And you know, there was no thought at all to what the downstream consequences might be.
At the corners of Arizona, Colorado, New Mexico, and Utah is located the Navajo Indian Reservation, an area of 16 million acres filled with traditions of a people whose ancestors roamed the rolling terrain long before the white man. Recently, vast deposits of uranium have been discovered in the Navajo Hills. Many of the Navajo men are employed in the uranium mines, where they are valued as conscientious workers, looking forward to the future of many brilliant tomorrows.
I was 7 years old when I lost 4 of my siblings, younger ones. Every one of them died of cirrhosis, liver disease, and they still don't know what caused it.
Never in the time that I had been working there was I told that it was unsafe. That word I never heard that word there.
They didn't say that you were dosed with the radiation, you know. We just worked there because there's a lot of money in it, so.
Day by day, they take their places in operating power machinery and the numerous other jobs about the mines, thus providing profitable employment for many of the tribe.
So there were absolutely no restrictions. They were giving away land. And that's what the 1872 mining law does, and it's still in effect. It says if you find a valuable mineral on public land, you own it, and that becomes your property.
All we ever knew was that there was mining, and started to notice that there was actually a name for it, uranium. We found out it was hazardous. It was something that would affect the human body.
And I only worked there for 6 years, and then they laid me off. But back in, 20 years later, I found out I had lymphoma, which is cancer of my immune system. But, well, at first I was in denial. Then finally it just dawned on me that that's probably where I got it.
Most of these miners that I used to work with, they're all gone now.
So the price of uranium dropped in 1991, and that meant that Canyon Mine and several other mines in this area just went dormant.
I'm Chris Shuey. The last name is spelled S-H-U-E-Y. I'm an environmental health specialist on the staff of Southwest Research and Information Center here in Albuquerque. We're working on sites that were mined in the 50s and 60s, and they are still a source of harm to the communities. And by orphan, all that means is there's no corporation, company, individuals who used to mine that exist anymore, and you can go and hand them a bill for the contamination or expect them to do the cleanup.
The materials that were left behind can still get into the groundwater in the soil, but when you breathe it in, it tends to get stuck there for months, half a year, and while it's sitting in the lung, it's exerting a low-level radiation. And we could see very clearly in everything we looked at, it's more toxic, it's more toxic. There's a lot to uranium that is still unknown.
This rock here has the highest content of radiation that was recorded. And this yellow greenish stuff, it's been here since the 1950s. This thing never changed color.
Cleanup was supposed to start in 2012. 2014, 2016. Now it's scheduled for 2020, which I don't know will happen if Trump is in there.
And then they always offer something like money, and money is not a good payment, you know. If we can give me life again, I would accept it, but not anymore. That's the way I feel about this situation.
When the Obama administration came into power, there was a recognition that there were these lands that were open to uranium companies and to uranium extraction. There was also a push to permanently protect it. So right now, there's only a 20-year moratorium, and frankly, the Trump administration could go in and lift it. And they're talking about doing that.
The Trump administration will always side with industry and corporate interest in this issue at the expense of the Navajo Nation and other tribes across this country. And to ignore all that is not only frustrating, it kind of turns the whole idea of our democracy upside down.
I will sign 2 presidential proclamations. These actions will modify the national monuments designations of both Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante.
It had been 1.35 million acres, and it's now just a tiny, tiny fraction of that.
It's kind of curious. If you look at the map of Bears Ears, the areas that are taken out of the monument, which is 80% of it, you'll notice that that's where the concentration of uranium claims are.
Energy Fuels Resources was proactively advocating for the Trump administration to remove all or as many protections from Bears Ears National Monument as the administration was willing to do.
President Trump was in Utah Monday, where he signed
an executive order in Utah fulfilling campaign promises to give the land back to the public.
And continues the Trump administration's rollback of key parts of President Obama's legacy.
Over the course of 2017, they'd paid $30,000 to employ a firm called Faegre BD, and the primary lobbyist on their contract was a guy by the name of Andy Wheeler, who is currently under consideration to be number 2 in command at the Environmental Protection Agency.
The lives of people, particularly people that have less political power, are being discounted in favor of those who control the capital.
While we are preoccupied with the shiny object of Trump and his delusions, underneath his noise is a very systematic undoing of public policy and a tradition to put the public's health at the forefront of any decision.
A lot of the traditional people say that uranium was or is Mother Earth's protection. It stays in the ground if you don't disturb it. If you bring it out, it's like one of the old monsters. It does damage. So it's the proverbial horse out of the barn. If you let it loose, it's hard to get it back.
Smile. This is my first daughter, passed on last year.
My oldest daughter, my oldest sister, she succumbed to it. about a year ago. She feels like her sickness right now is from that too.
Yo Chinese kala. Amado jeto iya na kedo edo shiliat esta.
Said she don't like mining. No more mining here. She feels like she don't want to see another family, including a mother, go through the same ordeal. Somehow we were picked, maybe a little crazy up in the head, but other than that, you know, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, it makes me angry now, you know, of what United States government did to us, you know. They're just like we're just like guinea pigs. They just make us go to work in there, and they're not telling us it's going to hurt us, you know. Just for the money, their money, you know. And like the 3 Mile Island and the Chernobyl and all that. And it's just getting out of hand, you know. It's just not good.
That bonehead president, he even had a quote, "Let them eat uranium." He's talking about us Native people. When we're saying right now, we say "Tota." So no uranium.
No more.
Yo